What is up, everybody? Ben Johnson here, and today I'm really excited because I've got my longtime personal friend, Zach Sopak, here to join us.
Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about how to handle haters.
Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a super special guest here with us, which is my longtime personal friend, Zach Sopak. Not only is he an awesome content creator and YouTuber, but we actually go way back all the way to middle school, which is pretty crazy. Bringing it back to today, we're both doing YouTube, but we actually find ourselves on two different sides of the country. He's out in California and I'm, here in Atlanta, but thanks to technology, we're still able to communicate and create content together like this.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here, Ben. Thanks for having me. I still remember, it seems like just yesterday I was teaching you how to play guitar.
That's true. This man shreds, by the way. I'm still working on it. Both of us have been doing YouTube for a little bit now. I know for me, I started really heavily back in April, and it had taken me like 3 years to actually start. I remember creating ideas and writing down scripts and actually shooting videos, even editing them and going so far as to upload them to YouTube, but never actually published. And it was just because of that fear of what would so-and-so think, or, it's not as good as, this person or that person, or, playing the comparison game and all of this stuff. And so it wasn't until I just really buckled down, punched fear in the face, and decided, let's go, we're going to publish this thing, that I started. And once you start, you will run into opposition. And so today we want to talk a little bit about some of the negative sides of the internet, some of the people that will come in and just bring hate and bring, try to bring you down as you're trying to make progress, and how to deal with it.
Yeah, so one of my favorite books that I recently just finished is called The Artisan Soul by Erwin McManus. And overall, it's just this great book on creative life and life as a creative. And one of the things that resonated with me the most is just this concept that it takes courage to create. Ben, I've known you for years and I've seen all of your work that you've done, but it's kind of interesting to hear that you struggled with posting. And I think probably the reason because of that is because you did a lot of freelance and client work, and it's different when it's someone else's idea, but when it's your own genuine thought or idea and you're really putting yourself out there, it's just a totally different ball game. And it takes courage to do that. It kind of blows my mind, to be honest, that people are so comfortable with going out of their way to spew negativity and hate towards other people, especially when people are trying to be original and be creative and have all these really cool ideas and do stuff. It just kind of blows my mind. It's okay, that bothers you enough, for whatever reason.
Totally. Yeah. I've heard a saying before that says hurt people, and I think that's just something to keep in mind. Sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with the content that you're making or the message that you're saying. It's just the fact that maybe you're doing the very thing that they wish they were doing. And because of that, they're either envious or jealous, or it's unsettling to them. And so they feel like they need to tear you down to somehow make themselves feel better. And I think when you have that perspective in mind, it's the only thing you can really feel is, you don't have to feel hurt by it or feel angry to it, but just know maybe I'm actually doing something right. Maybe I'm actually making progress and, kind of trailblazing into this thing that I've wanted to do for a while. And it could be upsetting some people, but you know what? I'm doing what I feel is best, and I'm making content that I'm proud of and that I love, and that other people, all of the other comments that are nice, we tend to put so much weight on the negative comments, right? It's we'll have maybe sometimes you'll have 10, positive, kind comments, and then you have one that's just negative or mean or personally attacking you or whatever. And it's we put more weight on that than all of the nice ones. But if we could just learn to treat it, put more weight on the positive ones, it would really help our perspective a lot, because those are also people that are moved by your content enough to want to leave a positive comment and encourage you. And it's like, man, how much of a blessing is that?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about the people who leave the negative comments, if I'm honest, like I used to be that kind of a person, not so extreme to like leaving hate on people, but my mentality was one of really envy, but it was easy for me to point out like, oh, I would have done this better, or that's not good. But the reason that was happening with me personally is that I wasn't personally being fulfilled with some form of a passion. And now that I am doing something that I'm super passionate about, I'm able to be happy for other people who are also creating, who are also going for it, being original, putting themselves out there, taking that courage and creating with it. And so you got to keep that in mind too. When people are being negative, my default now is like, okay, they obviously don't have something going on in their life that's fulfilling them passion wise, because when I'm filled with passion for the thing that I'm doing, in this case, it's YouTube, then I'm happy for other people who are also succeeding, because I also want them to be happy when I'm succeeding. But if I don't have anything fulfilling my life or taking up that time, then my time is spent just looking at everybody else's stuff. And if you don't address the things that you're envious about in other people, that will turn into regrets.
I think it's kind of like a discipline. You know, it's a discipline that you kind of develop of like, you know what, I'm going to choose joy in this situation. It's like, I'm going to choose to not dwell on, you know, this negative thing that so-and-so said. And I'm going to focus instead on just trying to keep creating and having fun, you know, with what I'm doing, because that's ultimately something that kind of picks you back up and keeps you going. I think sometimes we're all guilty of getting caught up on, you know, giving a little bit too much weight to the negative comments. And if we make a habit of that, what happens is we start to find our validation in the opinions of others. And that's a really unhealthy place to be.
It's, I mean, it's even a dangerous thing too. Like you could post something in a day, and if nobody likes it, what's the, you know, what do you feel like? What's the difference there? And, you know, for me, like I go to the Bible. There's a verse in Galatians 6, basically, where it talks about doing the things that, you know, the God-given desires work that he's put in front of you, doing that, but not for the affirmation of others. And that is so incredibly important, because if we fall into that, which is totally possible, I've done it before, not going to say I've never done that, but when you do, your perspective is totally skewed, because now instead of knowing who you are and having that definition for yourself, you're now being defined by the things that people are saying, which when it's good, it's good. But if you're riding that wave, when it comes crashing down with the negative, it'll just send you for a tailspin.
A lot of people's first reaction to negative comments is going to be to want to be negative back, right? It's going to be like, oh, you think this? Well, you're dumb. I think this, you know, whatever. You know, and so it's like, then it just becomes a hate war, and it's like, well, now we're just on Facebook. So, you know, I think like the main thing is, you know, especially when it comes to YouTube comments, like if you give it more attention, then you're just spreading hate with hate. And it's like, that's just creating a culture of hate on your comment section. Either respond back out of love and kindness, or, you know, maybe just remove the comment if it's super personal and just get it off your channel, moderate it. I watch a lot of streamers from time to time, and they always have moderators in the chats to go through and, you know, get rid of the stuff that the person doesn't want there. And it's like, be your own moderator. Go through and just like get rid of some crap if it's not suited for the culture that you want to have on your own comment section.
One time in particular, I got a huge amount of hate on this camera video I posted, just my opinion about this new Sony camera that was coming out. Like I even said at the beginning of the video, like, full disclosure, I think it's really awesome, but here's maybe why you don't want to buy it right now. Because, and then I basically talked about like, you know, we get so hyped on like buying new things and new gear and new, instead of just focusing on like more of, you know, getting good at your craft instead of just buying things all the time. And I was met with so much hate, with so much resistance to that thought. And it was very evident that people didn't really even watch the video, because they just saw a thumbnail and they're like, this guy's an idiot, you're stupid, like all these dumb things. Started making fun of like my haircut, like all these things that are super, like, I'm like, where is this even coming from? And not willing to hear me out. But to be honest, like I felt like I had to defend myself. And that was a flaw in me. Like I didn't realize that I had that in me. Like I felt the need to go and do that. So I learned a lot through that experience. I discovered that a lot of people are just out there to be trolls and to be haters and negative. And I had my perspective change of, they obviously don't have something better to do with their life except to hurt other people or try to hurt other people. So now I can take a lot of these tools that you're talking about, Ben, moderating or just not even giving it the time of day because really those opinions don't matter to me.
Thank God that like we can be productive, like we're the ones, out here like making videos and chasing dreams. And it's like, I don't have time to go watch someone's video and just leave hate and leave negative comments because I'm so busy out here, trying to create content that adds value to people. So it's like, I'm just going to stick through and do that. And it's like, for the people that are just trolling all day, it's like, man, I hope that they can find something that they're passionate about and, be able to shift their time to be a little bit more productive. Because I'll tell you, there have been times where I will type out a response and I just like want to hit send so bad, but I will delete it because I want to choose in that moment to kind of be the better person. And I want to choose in that moment to not acknowledge hate with more hate because that's just going to escalate the issue. And you're also kind of like, just as a lot of times on our YouTube videos, we're teaching and we're kind of like, influencing and doing all that type of stuff. People will watch the way you handle your comments. People will watch the way you carry yourself. And so it's like, let's be a good example and a good model of like how to deal with that crap, because it's not fun to deal with, but at the same time, let's talk a little bit about some just practical things you can do. So for me, for example, rather than replying to a negative comment with more negativity, I will choose to either just remove it or try to meet it with some kindness and just kind of like acknowledge, maybe there's a hidden question in there somewhere and you can kind of answer it just very matter of fact. You don't have to really give an opinion, don't have to really show emotion. You can just give a matter of fact, statement. Another thing you can do is just be positive to them, just show them, say something nice to them or whatever, because it's like sometimes that will just negate it. I've actually had that happen where someone has left me a very personal, like mean comment. And I was able to just reply with something like, well, you know what, thank you for taking the time to watch the video. And they came back with like, you're welcome. It was just like, it's like they weren't even mad or mean. They just left a negative comment and then they were nice when I was nice. So sometimes people be the person that kind of sets the temperature, that sets the mood, of the chat and just meet it with positivity. Cause you never know, you could change someone's perspective.
So one of the most important things for me is to just surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you, who are going to uplift you, and also who are going to give you some honest feedback. And those aren't always the same people. Some people are just, you want to have them. They're always in your corner. They're always going to be there to encourage you, good, bad, or anything else. And then there are other friends too, where you're just going to want to have some brutal and honest feedback, but it creates this safe relationship to where, if they're telling me this, it's because they're seeing it and I'm going to be able to receive it well. So I've got a few friends, my wife, I've got Ben, who I can go to and just, hey, I'm really down right now. I need some encouragement, and they're going to give it to me, which is so awesome and so critical to have whenever you're dealing with the negativity of comments and things like that. But it's also really beneficial to have a friend like Ben or somebody who's close to you who I can go to for feedback, or I can ask, hey, what do you think about this thumbnail? What do you think about this caption? Is this video lacking anything? And then to get that brutal and honest feedback. And they obviously do it in a loving way, but that's the kind of stuff that makes you better as a creator. It's inviting other people to collaborate with their opinion, to get some help along the process. Because if you're trying to do this thing by yourself, yes, you can do it, but it's going to be very lonely and it's going to be a lot harder of a process to do than if you would invite other people into the process.
All right, everybody, that's going to about wrap up this video. I hope that you have enjoyed this and found some value from it. And huge shout out to Zach Stopak for joining us today.
Ben, thanks so much for having me. I had so much fun doing this video with you, and I'm so excited that we are on this YouTube journey together.
Definitely go check out Zach's channel. He is a content creator that wants to help take your creativity to the next level. He's got tons of great resources and a lot of good videos that are going to help you enhance your content creation game and just grow your influence on YouTube and overall. Before you guys leave, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and as always, stay creative. Peace.
I jumped in.